Hi everyone, it's Caitlin. So in today's video, I'm just going to be reviewing my first tarot deck, which is the Golden Thread Tarot. I actually have it in my hands already right here. We'll take a closer look at my table, my altar in just a minute. But it comes in this nice black tuck box with gold detailing. On the front, it's just got the different suits of a tarot deck. On the back, it's just got some information. It has the title, and it says it was designed by Tina Gong. It has the website. It says it's 78 gold foil cards on eco-friendly plastic. And one thing I also like about this creator is that she has a very informative website. She also has an app, and I remember in the beginning when I was learning tarot, I used to go to the app and I used to use it to help me learn the different meanings. But yeah, I love the fact that there's a tuck box in it. And so again, like I said, I've had this, it's my first tarot deck, and I've had this for about 6 years now. And the detailing is starting to fade, but of course that would be expected. There's just some information on the inside of the box. She mentions the app right here. There's also just a little design on the back part of the box. Okay, and then it also comes with this this guidebook right here. It's a simple guidebook. Of course, it's got all the different suits, the major arcana. She also has some, I feel like, some of the most common spreads on here. And I like her guidebook because the meanings are very simple and just to the point, just keywords basically. Okay, and this is what the deck looks like, just I guess, from a distance pretty much. It's the plastic cards again with the gold detailing, the same image as the front of the tuck box. And then the images, I feel like this is a very good beginner deck. I feel like the images are pretty simple to understand. And I feel like, I don't want to like get too far ahead of myself, but I feel like the author, the creator, the designer, I feel like she is Asian, and I feel like in some of these cards you can see a little bit of the Asian influence, or just some of the images just kind of have like an Asian aesthetic to it, I guess. But I like that. I think that that's nice. And so yeah, I'm not even sure like how I came across this deck, how I found it. I just remember searching on Google, I guess, or looking up tarot decks, and this is I feel like this is the first one that I found, which I feel like is perfect, right? Like how does that happen? Like the first deck that I come across, I feel like is the one. But yeah, I came across it. It's my favorite color, and I'm, again, I was learning, and so I just feel like it was meant to be pretty much. I'm just kind of like going through it to see if there's anything else that I want to say about it. I think the only thing for me with some of these decks is just like, of course, the foil is not going to last forever. I feel like in a perfect world, the foil would last forever. I feel like that's the only thing that bothers me. But because yeah, it's starting to fade. But yeah, and then I also ended up giving away this deck to somebody years ago when I did giveaways or whatever. I only did a couple, I think, but yeah. And what else did I want to say about it? Again, I feel like it's a good beginner deck. I feel like the quality is good. I think the only other thing I was going to mention about this is like I stopped using this. I used it, I feel like, heavily in the first few months of my journey, but then when I started collecting different decks, that's when I stopped using it pretty much. And it will always be my favorite. I will always have it, and I will always love it. But another thing too is just like you can't shuffle this, I feel like, the way I like to shuffle. So I like to use the jumper method, and I bought this deck before I actually started using the jumper method, but when I went back and tried to shuffle with it, to me it's just not the same. So I feel like this is good if you just kind of like fan your cards out, that kind of thing. Let me see something really quick. Yeah, I feel like if you like fan your cards out, or you just like pull randomly from the deck, I feel like it's good for that. But if you like to use jumpers like me, I would not recommend this deck for that. But overall, it's a good deck. I feel like it's a decent price point. I think when I bought it, it was like $56. I think it is about the same price. It'll be linked in the description box too, but I do feel like it's budget friendly, and I'm somebody like, I don't mind investing into my passions, so to me it is worth it. And even though I don't use it, I love having it in my collection, and I'm glad I invested in it. So next we will get a closer look at the deck, and we'll do a little flip through. Okay, so this is the tuck box of the Golden Thread Tarot. This is the front, and then here's the back. I went ahead and took the cards out, but here's the inside of the box, the tuck box. And then it comes with this very simple guidebook. Okay, and here are the cards. Here's the back. And then now I'm just going to flip through all of them. I'm going to do my best not to shake the table. But here's the Fool. It's got that traditional design, I feel like, of the Fool. Well, I don't even want to say traditional because in the Golden Thread Tarot, the Fool doesn't look like a jester. But in other and different variations of the deck, the Fool can look like a jester. It almost kind of makes, I was thinking about this earlier, sometimes the Fool, like when people have designed it that way, like I understand why they design it that way, to represent somebody who could be naive and foolish, but I don't really see the Fool in that type of way. And then the Fool card is actually the most powerful card in the deck, because it has, I mean, some people I've learned recently have said the number 0 does not exist, which I feel like I've also reflected about and been confused about in the past. But the Fool, I feel like, is a very powerful card because it's basically a new beginning. Like pretty much you can go in any direction with like utilizing the Fool energy too. And then there's a bird right here, which I feel like kind of represents getting ready to take off, getting ready to go off on a journey, getting ready to, it just kind of reminds me of Ascension, but I don't really know if the Fool is necessarily associated with Ascension. But we have the Magician. This is in line with, I feel like, the traditional images. He's got all the 4 elements. Well, I don't know why I keep saying elements. I mean, I guess they are the elements, but the different suits right here. We've got like some herbs. Well, we've got some greenery right here representing, I just feel like, birth, kind of like giving birth to things. We got the power of fire right here. And then these just kind of this makes me think of just like things flowing. We've got the High Priestess. We have the Empress, and this is the card that really reminds me the most of that Asian influence, I feel like. Or just that it has like an Asian aesthetic or design, I feel like. We've got the Emperor. We've got the Hierophant. And then we have the Lovers here. The Chariot. Strength. The Hermit. This is the card again that made me really think of the Hermit being on the cliff. And it's also what made me really think of this, the homing signal, or that emanation effect again. We've got the Wheel of Fortune. Justice. The Hanged Man. Death. Temperance. The Devil. The Tower. The Star card. We've got the Moon. We have the Sun. Judgment. The World card. And now we get into the 4 suits. The first suit is the Wands. So we have the Ace of Wands here. We've got the 2 of Wands. I feel like when I was first learning, I struggled the most with the 2 of Wands and the 3 of Wands. Because when I think of like the 2 of Wands, I think of like planning. Well, I mean, I of course would eventually go on to learn what it meant. And to me, this didn't really seem like he was, I think I was looking more for the imagery to match that. So it just took me a while to, I feel like, understand that. And it doesn't look like he's holding the world right here either. It's like his hands are kind of out to the side. And I keep noticing how there's like a portal on a lot of these cards, which is cool. Because here it is again, like the two poles, columns, things like that. Okay, then we got the 3 of Wands, which I think mainly of a card as expansion. But he doesn't really look like he's expanding, you know, but I think if I would have purchased the Golden Universal first, you know, it would have been different, but this is what I came across first, and I definitely feel like it was meant to be. So next we've got the 4 of Wands. We got the 5 of Wands. This doesn't so much look like conflict. It really, to me, kind of looks like, you know, charging forward, being ready to face conflict. It also gives me like protection type energy. We got the 6 of Wands. The 7 of Wands. 8 of Wands. 9 of Wands. 10 of Wands. I like this design. You got the Page of Wands. I think I struggled the most with the Knights, actually, for some reason. More so the Knight of Swords. I feel like the Knight of Swords and the Knight of Cups, I feel like I struggled a lot with, but just the Knights, I feel like took me a long time to get. Also the Kings. But here's the Knight of Wands. Got the Queen of Wands. Again, I feel like there's that Asian aesthetic. King of Wands. I like how the court cards are designed. We've got the Ace of Cups. I like the way this card looks. We've got the 2 of Cups. I like this design too. We've got the 3 of Cups. We got the 4 of Cups, and I like this card too. I like the expression, basically. We've got the 5 of Cups. To me, these always have been very, like, mirrored each other very closely. These cards have always kind of reminded me of some very similar energy. But I think the 5 of Cups is more a card of, you know, grief and disappointment. Whereas the 4 of Cups is like one step before that. And I feel like it's more about, you know, illusions, disillusionment, that kind of thing. And it's almost like a card of like I mean, really, I feel like I could say that about both, so never mind. But yeah, there's the 5 of Cups. 6 of Cups. You got the 7 of Cups. I like this. We've got the 8 of Cups. I like the way this card is designed too. We've got the 9 of Cups. I like this. I like the way this is designed also. I feel like it kind of gives a different vibe to the 9 of Cups. You know, the 9 of Cups is a card of emotional fulfillment, but to me, it's almost like he's protecting his fulfillment here. Like there's a serious energy to this card. We've got the Ten of Cups, very beautiful energy. I like the fish on there, which can represent abundance, prosperity. We've got the Page of Cups. And I keep noticing like the flow element to a lot of these cards. We've got the Knight of Cups. There it is again. There it is again. The Queen of Cups. I wonder what shells represent. I don't know off the top of my head. And that's one thing that, you know, you can pick up as you start picking up on as you learn how to read. It's just the imagery, what's in the images. Like sometimes you'll notice one thing, the next for another reading you'll notice something else. Sometimes it's like you could have had a deck for like years, and then all of a sudden you notice one particular detail that you just never paid attention to. Next is the King of Cups. We have the Ace of Swords, the Two of Swords, Three of Swords, Four of Swords. I like this, the way this is designed. We've got the Five of Swords, we've got the Six of Swords, the Seven of Swords. I like this one too. We've got the Eight of Swords, Nine of Swords, Ten of Swords, Page of Swords. I feel like this is the most different Page of Swords that I probably have throughout all my decks, because it's like here he actually looks like, I don't know if the page can necessarily, like this page can represent mischievousness, but he actually looks playful. And when you think of pages, typically they're like, if you're going to apply it to a person, typically they can be seen as immature, you know, in that learning stage. They can be seen as, you know, a child. And this page looks the most, I feel like, curious and playful out of all the pages of swords I've ever seen, pretty much. Yeah, it looks like he's like playing around, having fun. Like he plays games, though. I think that I've seen people reference the Page of Swords like that. And then let's go to the guidebook really quick. Curiosity, mental energy, restlessness, chattiness. Yeah, this definitely looks like somebody who, you know, is chatty, like a Gemini pretty much. And then reversed it says deception. Why, I did say mischievous. We've got manipulation, all talk, no action. I feel like upright though, the Page of Swords is like more so respectable though, like very intelligent. It's just how do they choose to use it, I guess. We've got the Knight of Swords. I typically get this card a lot for myself. We've got the Queen of Swords, King of Swords, we've got the Ace of Pentacles, Two of Pentacles, Three of Pentacles, Four of Pentacles. This is an interesting design. We've got the Five of Pentacles, Six of Pentacles, Seven of Pentacles. I like this too. We've got the Eight of Pentacles, Nine of Pentacles, Ten of Pentacles. Ten of Pentacles is probably my favorite card, to be honest with you. I think it's just that Capricorn energy in me. We've got the Page of Pentacles, Funny thing to me about this page is like he seems uncertain, or there's just like no expression. We've got the Knight of Pentacles, the Queen of Pentacles, and then the King of Pentacles. And so that will complete this video. Thank you guys so much for watching, and then I will talk to you guys later.